Hey gang, Wonder Rob here.
And Shop's here too.
This podcast is part of the Geek So To Speak network.
Visit geeksotospeak.com for our full podcast lineup.
Welcome to the Holdo Maneuver podcast, part of the Geek So To Speak network. I'm Mark.
And I'm Vactor. We're two hardworking dads trying to immerse ourselves in Star Wars and fit it into our very busy lives.
If this is your first time listening, in this short-form Star Wars podcast, we'll share our thoughts on different topics from a galaxy far, far away. Hey Vactor, why does Kylo Ren's lightsaber have so much crackle?
Let's see, I know he's not on a starship on SNL, so why does his lightsaber have so much crackle?
Snap and Pop were busy. Alright, and we're back for this week. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into the news. So what we're going to be doing with the scheduling of this podcast going forward is it's going to be a bi-weekly podcast. So every other week, outside of when there's an active Star Wars TV series running on Disney Plus at the time. So once Obi-Wan starts up, we'll be doing weekly podcasts again to cover each of those episodes. And whenever like the next movie comes out, obviously we'll do that too. But yeah, so with that, we did have another correction from the last episode, is that the Mando's N1 Starfighter Lego brick set is actually going to be coming out this June. I think we said that it came out this month in April on the last episode.
That's right.
So got to wait a little bit longer to get that Mando N1 Starfighter Lego set.
Dang.
And then I will let Vactor take our first news story about the art of Star Wars.
Oh yeah. So there's a brand new Art of book coming out with new concept art, which was actually revealed on the Star Wars High Republic show. It's the Art of Star Wars The High Republic, which is the current initiative that they're going through in all of the comics and novels in the time set before A New Hope, like 1,000 years before. And I don't know, have you checked out that High Republic show on YouTube?
I have not.
It's okay. It's actually kind of long, but they go through they interview a lot of creators on there, so that's kind of the main draw of it. But the only dabbling I've done in the High Republic so far is the comic book, the very first comic book series. So I actually want to get a little bit further into it. So this might be a nice way to get into that, the art of the High Republic. So I'm going to definitely want to check this out when it comes out.
Yeah, this looks pretty cool. This is like still one of my kind of like the blind spots right now in Star Wars.
Yes.
Because I haven't checked out any of the High Republic stuff yet. And I'm wondering if any of the like the Disney Plus series that we have coming up, like Acolyte or like Rangers of the Republic, if any of those will take place during like that era of Star Wars.
And we need that. We need a TV show set in that era, because the Knights of the Old Republic video games, I've always wanted to see some type of live action in there. So this High Republic would definitely fill that void.
And some of this art looks pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot can happen. I know there's a younger Yoda, I believe, like in the High Republic. That's pretty much all I know out of the High Republic, and also that there's a Jedi Wookiee.
Yes.
Too.
Yes. That is true. But Kristen
definitely.
Baver did this book, and she hosts the Star Wars show, and then she's also written some novels. She's heavily tied into Star Wars right now.
Very cool. Do you know when that comes out? Does it have a release date set for it yet?
I was actually trying to look for that, but I don't see something announced here. And it's actually going in different waves. So they're on wave 2 of the books and then wave 3 of the comics. So the High Republic is in full effect right now. But yeah, look out for the Art of book very shortly. But I don't see a specific release date yet. But as soon as we know, we'll let you know.
Very cool. And so the next thing, it's a little bit of older news. It's from back on Valentine's Day, which is appropriate with the news of what it's about. It's that we're invited to Han and Leia's wedding in Star Wars: The Princess and the Scoundrel, and it's their wedding aboard the Halcyon Starcruiser, the new Galactic Starcruiser that just opened up in Disney World.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little way to tie in the Halcyon to the Star Wars universe, in universe there, and it looks like it was meant to be like a comic book, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
Or is it a book?
It's a novel itself. Yeah, it's a book by Beth Revis.
Now, see, that's like another blind spot for me too. Is like a lot of like the novels.
Yes.
So
I would say that's my biggest blind spot.
How can you read this? There's no pictures. But yeah, I've always wanted to get into more of the Star Wars novels, but I've found myself leaning more towards if there's an audiobook version of it available, I'll tend to try to check those out instead. Just because that way it's kind of more almost like an audio drama that you're listening to.
That's how I think
we talked about. Yeah, I think we talked about this on the last episode where we were talking about the Ahsoka audiobook.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I majorly wanted to listen to that because it was Ashley Eckstein.
Yes.
Or Eckstein.
Yeah.
I've heard it both ways. Doing the narration as her character for that. So it's always cool to check these out. And it'd be interesting to see if they do an audiobook for this. I'm sure they would. And to see who they would get to do possibly Han and Leia's voices in this. And it's kind of like a little bit of the story and timeline that we haven't seen with the two characters yet. Maybe, I know it's supposed to be their wedding in there, but I also wonder if maybe there'll be flashbacks or flash forwards to little Ben Solo walking around in there. See a little bit of little baby Ben. But that should be interesting. I definitely will look more into that as it comes out later on this year. And then from there, the next thing we're going to be talking about is, you actually just talked about it a little bit with the Old Republic. They released a cinematic trailer for The Legacy of the Sith.
Yes.
What did you think about that?
Yeah, so this is actually a separate game from Knights of the Old Republic, but I do want to get into Old Republic, and I watched this cinematic trailer, and it looks like this should be an animated film. It looks fantastic. They did a great job with the CG in here, and the story looks compelling too, just from the short time. It's a 6-minute trailer, but in that 6 minutes, it's like a full episode of an animated series. So I was very pleased with that Disorder cinematic trailer.
Yeah, see, now, I would watch more, if they decided, I know all of, the animated shows they've done so far, with Filoni, have been very, stylistically made.
Right.
And what's kind of funny is that it looks like the alien, the creature that they're levitating with the Force in the beginning of the trailer, too, kind of looks like the Mudhorn.
Yes.
That Din and Grogu take on in season 1 of Mandalorian. But I think I had ADD for myself right there, where we see a little bit of fights in here and stuff, but it would be cool to see an animated series actually done more in this. What's the best way to phrase it? The more quote unquote realistic,
right?
Photorealism kind of. I think it'd be interesting to see something like that, because I know a lot of people will just look up these CG animated shorts that some other fans just make of set in the Star Wars universe and watch those, where it's these matchups of different characters that never interacted in the actual series that people made. And I think that there's a lot of room there to do animated series like this too.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you. Like I said, get me this show now. I want to see it.
Yeah, and I'll play this game too once it comes out as well. Looks pretty cool. And then the next thing, we were kind of talking about here a little bit earlier too, with the Obi-Wan series is that this kind of caught us off guard. I think it was like the day after we recorded last week. This announcement came out. What wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah, let's see. Let me check this really quick.
Yeah, because we hadn't reported on it in the last episode.
Yeah, when was this posted? Come on, show me. You're not showing me. Well, yeah, I think it was pretty much like the day we posted the last episode. This came out. I was like, oh, cool. And I know that we had so before I talk all about that, is that Ewan McGregor came out to tell us that Obi-Wan Kenobi had that perfect release date of, the 45th anniversary of Star Wars A New Hope. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to release on actual Star Wars Day, not marketing Star Wars Day. And yeah, we're going to get Obi-Wan that day. It's going to be real cool. It's going to be on Wednesdays when we record, so it lines up nice with our podcast. And then he comes out and he's like, oh, sorry guys. Actually, it's going to come out on the 27th on Friday. But we're going to give you 2 episodes, the first 2 episodes that day. And I'm still not 100% sure if it's only those 2 episodes that are going to be on Fridays. Because our one friend, Adam Fraser, I asked him because he's really knowledgeable about a lot of Star Wars stuff. And he told me that he believes it's only the premiere that is that Friday, May 27th. But the rest of the 4 episodes that will air after that of the 6 episodes limited series are going to still be on Wednesdays.
Right.
But I still haven't seen any confirmation of that anywhere. So if anything, I would have to say out of that announcement, that made it very confusing about what day of the week the show is going to be airing on now. Just because we've everything used to get released on Friday, and then we got really used to the Wednesday release.
Right.
And this is also going to overlap with the Marvel series, Miss Marvel. That'll be the first time that a Star Wars show and a Marvel show overlapped on Disney Plus, so that should be interesting as well.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? About them having that perfect release date of it on the 25th, and they're like, well, move it 2 more days.
Yeah, very kind of bittersweet. It doesn't necessarily, turn me off from Obi-Wan. I still want to see it, but it would have been nice to keep that original date. But
yeah, I remember or thought I'd seen some people saying that to, release that first episode on the 25th still, and then they can still release 2 episodes that week, but put the second episode on the Friday. And I know some of our other friends Ralph that does the live action Star Wars podcast. Basically everyone that does the podcast is kind of threw everything out of whack for them, because they're like, oh cool, we got the 25th. And I know that Rebel Force Radio podcast, they had this whole party thing planned for that first night of Star Wars Celebration.
Ooh.
Where they were going to do a live podcast recording talking about the first episode. Dang. So that sucks for them. Yeah. But I wonder if anything of that has to do with Star Wars Celebration too. So it's interesting that it got delayed here at the last minute.
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder if there's anything else behind it like that. And then you sent me this earlier today. It was the Fan First Wednesday live stream where they kind of went through a bunch of the Hasbro Pulse stuff. And now a lot of the Hasbro Pulse stuff that I've been familiar with was they did that George Lucas as a Stormtrooper figure. They're more obviously famous for doing recently they did the Ghostbusters Proton Pack and Neutrino Wand, and they basically do the fan order, made to order kind of stuff. You have to get a certain, it's basically a huge company version of GoFundMe or something like that to make stuff like that. I know they recently did a Jabba's Palace set that I don't think ended up selling or hitting the threshold it needed to, and they didn't do that, so they didn't do that one. And I almost wonder if it had come out later on after Book of Boba Fett, if it would have gone through. But was there any figures or anything that you saw like within this video that stood out to you that you wanted or that looked pretty cool?
I have been trying to save my money lately, so I was not looking at this specifically because I didn't want to be tempted. But I heard there was some nice reveals, and I'm always a big fan of any of the Black series that they put out. So I'm sure there was some nice stuff that was announced.
Yeah, they did. They did a Battlefront Lando of the Donald Glover version. And it looks pretty cool.
Nice.
I know you have the Din Djarin Mandalorian helmet, and they had the white Darth Vader
Yeah.
in here too, so that was pretty cool. But I'm always a fan of seeing some of these new helmets that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And where was it? Oh, I saw it. Here it
They
was.
did the Dave Filoni Trapper Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And I wonder if even Dave Filoni has to pay for that, or if they gave him one.
Good question.
But that's another cool kind of collectible that you can get of a Star Wars creator within the universe, kind of like the George Lucas character from Revenge of the Sith, how they made action figures of that, or of like his kids that were in the films. So it's always kind of cool, like when you can get a figure of a creator within the universe type of stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But definitely for anybody that are big fans of Filoni, we're definitely, and it's a cool looking helmet too.
Yeah,
so I would definitely,
like
I would definitely recommend checking that out. But that's going to do it for our news. So that'll let us move into our main topic for this week. So what came out this week was the brand new Lego Star Wars game, the Skywalker Saga, the first Lego Star Wars game since 2016. So we figured this week that we would discuss basically the history of the Lego Star Wars video games. The first one came out in March of 2005, so my son wasn't even born yet at that point.
Dang.
Which I think is funny. And what's kind of cool, just like the prequels themselves, the first Lego Star Wars game, which is based on the prequels, itself has spawned a lot of memes just from that game, which I think is kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Now, with that first game, what system did you play it on? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure it was the original Xbox. Whenever there was a game that was multi-platform, I was always playing it on Xbox because I liked the controller better. And it was also more powerful. So in my mind as a kid, I'm like, all right, this one has better graphics, so I'm going to get the Xbox version.
I remember, I believe I got it on PlayStation 2 because at one point, I believe Patrick had every single Lego video game that had been released, like including Lego Rock Band.
Yeah,
and
nice.
the only one that we had at that point that wasn't like a PlayStation Lego game was the Lego Indiana Jones, and we had gotten it for the Wii for some reason. But what was kind of cool about having that one on the Wii was with the Wiimote, you could crack the whip with
nice.
the character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But now, like when and I remember the way that they had this one set up is that like one of the like the areas where you like the hub where you would choose the level you wanted to play was Dexter's Diner from Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
What's up, Dex? The 1950s diner within the Star Wars universe.
Nice homage.
I remember there was like hidden the mini kit canisters hidden throughout each level in that one.
Right.
So that kind of leads me to like one of my like first questions about like how you would play the games with these. Were you like a completionist where you went through and you got that True Jedi achievement at the end of it where you got all the studs, you got all the mini kits, you got all the golden bricks, so that you got it 100% complete?
Yeah, I definitely tried to do that. I definitely tried to do it as a completionist, but I want to say after the third level, I gave up, and I was like, this is taking too long. So I started to lose interest. But I was trying to get them all True Jedi for sure.
Oh yeah, I know, and like I guess sometimes for me it would depend on like what kind of mood I was in.
Right.
Like sometimes I would just like run around and just like beat the crap out of everything with, like depending on if I was like a Jedi or someone that had like a blaster or a droid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had a lightsaber, I would just run around and like just bash everything with that.
Right.
Or like use. I don't think they added being able to use the Force in it until Lego Star Wars 2, the one that's based on the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember you being able to use the Force in the first one. Now, out of like the first two games, did you like the one that was based on the prequels more, or did you end up liking the one that was based more on the original trilogy?
I think at the time, I liked the original trilogy better because the prequels were still a sore spot for me. You know, I loved episode 3, but episodes 1 and 2 were not my favorite. So I for sure gravitated towards the original trilogy. Now, if I play them, I'm a lot more forgiving of the prequels. So I probably either one is fine, but definitely the original trilogy was the one that I liked the most.
And one of like the kind of, I guess, the quintessential, or like, I don't know what you'd want to call it, but like the key things about these games, at least originally, was like the Lego Mumble dialogue.
Yes, right.
Where there wasn't any actual dialogue in it, but it was just like, and then I guess I think some like with R2 and something like they would use like the actual, sound effects
Beeps,
for that.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't until like more recently, I think. I don't remember what the first game was recently that they started using like actual recorded dialogue, either like reused from films if it was like a retelling of movies. I think it might have been the Lego Hobbit game. I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which, side tangent for that game is only for An Unexpected Journey in the Desolation of Smaug. There's not, like, it just ends with Smaug going to lay waste to Lake Town. And I was like, okay, maybe they'll release like a DLC that's Battle of the Five Armies. No.
Huh.
It just ends. That's like, either wait until the entire trilogy is out.
Right.
Or I don't know. That still bothers me about that game.
As a completionist, that's definitely something that'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, there's only one return. It's not of the king, it's of the Jedi. But going from that, the next one, now this one is it was a compilation that came out the following year after the original trilogy game came out in September 2006. This came out in November of 2007, and it was episodes 1 through 6. So you had the prequels and the original trilogy,
yes,
all together in one game. And now this one, like they did, so in a way, like they remade some of the levels without making them exactly the same, and they tried to make it new in that way too. So there was, but was changed to the free roam style. It like used almost all vehicles and levels in the game, so that was kind of cool in that one as well.
Yeah.
And so like especially like an the Attack of the Clones level, like you could do like that whole like bounty hunter pursuit chase in there.
Yep.
With like Obi-Wan and Anakin going after Zam Wesell. So that was interesting. I liked that. And then I believe I want to say they added like the gunship.
Yeah.
Right. Levels to that, and they also added the pod race in that too.
Yeah.
Now, and like at that same time, they also put some unlockable playable characters in there for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
As a way to kind of promote that the Lego Indiana Jones was going to be coming out. So, going back to Lego Indiana Jones, like I mentioned earlier. And the next one that came after that one was Lego Star Wars 3, which was based on the Clone Wars. Now this one was kind of interesting too, because I want to say this came out before like the fourth or fifth season of the show, so like the show wasn't even done yet.
Right.
And the levels were only about like specific storylines within the show, so
Yeah.
it was definitely much different from those first few games where, you know, it was based on the full movies in the trilogy.
Right. It was only the first 2 seasons of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Now, what did you think about this one as compared to, you know, like the ones that are based on the films?
Yeah, this one I think is where I started to decline, because when it was specifically the films, I was all into it. When it started to go to after Clone Wars and it wasn't even complete yet, that's when I was like, maybe I don't need to play every single one of these Lego games. So maybe, like you said, wait a little bit longer and put it out. Even if you're going to put it out season by season, and let's say like they do Call of Duty every year, do a Lego every year.
Yeah, they could even do like the Fortnite way, and like maybe like release them as like a do like a DLC season and update it.
Yep, they could definitely do that.
That could be interesting to do that. And they kind of did that. I don't think it was included in Lego Dimensions when that game came out. I think that was like one of the licenses that they didn't have for Lego Dimensions because of, like, they'd already done. Yeah, I think specifically because they already did the Lego Star Wars games and the Lego Marvel games. Like the whole Disney licensing, like they couldn't do that within Lego Dimensions. So that's why that wasn't in there. But that would have been cool if you could have had like Star Wars stuff interacting with, like we said, Lord of the Rings or Doctor Who, or that's a whole nother thing. But the Lego Dimensions games, those are pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Now, like this too, that kind of ties into this is that my son was telling me, because since he's been playing the new one, is that in it, Anakin is voiced by Matt Lanter.
Yes.
Who did Anakin in the Clone Wars, as well as James Arnold Taylor, who did Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars as well. So it's pretty cool that they're reprising their voices in the new game there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. He said he was getting a kick out of hearing them like in scenes from like Revenge of the Sith or like Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Seeing that. So that's pretty cool. And then the most recent one that came out here just before Skywalker Saga game was Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. So like kind of like how we were saying, either do one film at a time or wait until they're all out. This was the only game that they had done as far as like the new sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So in playing the Skywalker Saga game, that'll be the first time anybody gets to play like any Lego version of like The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker out of there. And I remember that one being like the Lego Force Awakens being, that one used the real dialogue in that one as well, I remember. And now with that one, what were some of the things that stood out for some of the stuff they added to that weren't in like the original ones there?
Yeah, and this one is one that I played the least, but I do remember the voice acting specifically being the actors, and I got so used to the mumbling, the Lego mumbles, that when I heard the voice acting, I was like, oh, this kind of throws me off. But like I said, this one I have the least amount of experience with because I had just kind of fallen off on the Lego franchise. This Skywalker Saga that just came out, I think, is going to be my jumping back in point back into the franchise. But definitely it's interesting that there was that new craze when the sequel trilogy came out of new interest of Star Wars. So this is right alongside that, having a Lego Kylo in there, Lego Rey, an older Han. So all those things were cool.
Yeah, and this was also one of the first ones that had the DLC for it.
Yeah, right.
One of them was a exclusive to like Sony systems it was actually like an entire level that explained how C-3PO obtained his red arm.
Yeah.
The Phantom Limb. So in that one you got 8 characters and then a miniature vehicle based on the level. And then there are 3 more level packs in that too. There was Escape from Starkiller Base, which followed a pair of Resistance pilots as they made their escape from the besieged Starkiller Base. And then you had the First Order Siege of Takadana, which depicts the Battle of Takadana from the First Order's perspective. And then you had Jakku Poe's quest getting tongue-tied with Jakku Poe's quest for survival, which depicts Poe Dameron's escape from Jakku upon being separated from Finn and presumed dead in the main storyline. So it's kind of cool. Like some of these levels in here are stuff that kind of happened to the side off screen that you didn't see in it. So it made it kind of a cool additional thing that you could do in there.
Yeah, I like that.
And then the other 8 packs that were character packs were each characters and a miniature ship. There was a droid character pack, Clone Wars character pack, a Star Wars Rebels character pack. You and I were talking about this for like the DLC for the Skywalker Saga, which seems like the Rebels are like the only thing that aren't included on the new one.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an Empire Strikes Back character pack, Jabba's Palace, and then the Freemaker Adventure character pack, which was that was like an animated Lego series that was on Cartoon Network for a while. So that was kind of interesting to include that one in there too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys could hear Sylvie, but my little puppies out there want to talk about Star Wars.
She wants
too.
to play the Skywalker Saga.
Yeah. And then, so this last one, we're going to have a whole episode after we both had a chance to like really get in depth and play this new game. We just wanted to touch on it a little bit in this episode. Like we said, it just came out recently. As we're recording this, it came out yesterday on April 5th of 2022.
Yes.
And from these series and stuff like that, is there anything that was in the past games that you'd like to see in this game, or anything that wasn't in the last few games that you would like to not see in this game?
Yeah, I don't know anything specific. Like, I'm just looking forward to getting back to that same style of Lego gameplay that was in the originals that I was playing, when it was just called Lego Star Wars, before they started adding on all of the other things. And being able to have the whole episodes 1 through 9, the whole Skywalker Saga, is going to be cool to go from start to finish. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to having it as a complete package, and also like a modern version, because like you said, last one was 7 years ago. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to what it looks like now versus what it looked like 7 years ago.
Yeah, and as one of the other things we had said was like with some of the voice actors coming back for this, I know one that you and I are both excited about is Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Who's reprising his role as Darth Maul. And he's also coming back as Palpatine in this too.
Nice.
So
very nice.
I'm sure we'll get a Lego Darth Maul saying, Kenobi!
Yes, I can't wait.
But yeah, we'll dive a little bit deeper into this here in a few weeks when we've had some more time to play it. But we hope everyone enjoyed our discussion of the history of the Lego Star Wars games. That's going to wrap it up for us today. But we're a new podcast. We're about 8 episodes in here now. So if you guys want to leave us a review on any podcast catcher of your choice, that if it allows you to do so, helps us out. So leave us a review. Preferably want to text, whatever you want to say. Hopefully it's nice. You can find us on social media. We're pretty much at HoldoPod everywhere. So on Twitter and Instagram, at HoldoPod. You can look for us on Facebook just by searching for Holdo Maneuver. We're also on YouTube. Search Holdo Maneuver there too. And then individually, you can find us both on Instagram and Twitter. I'm just at my first and last name, Marc with a C, M-A-R-C, Vibbert, V-I-B-B-E-R-T. And then Vactor, where can they find you on Instagram and Twitter?
Also, my last name, Vactor, V-A-C-T-O-R.
And then you can email us at holdopod@gmail.com. You can email us any thoughts of maybe what you're thinking about the new Lego Star Wars game, what your favorite thing of the games were. If you read it, if you write it, we'll read it on the show. You can even send us a voicemail right here on Anchor, and we can insert that into the episode too. So whichever way you want to do that, you can do that. And then for all things geek, you can go to geeksotospeak.com, where it includes the entire podcast of network shows. We got the video game podcast, which is the Sandbox Gamers, here with Vactor, Wonder Rob, and Jeff W. On Tuesdays, you got Vactor Love Comics. On Wednesdays, you got us on Thursdays, every other Thursday. And then Technological, which is Schaff and Vactor, on Fridays. And then the main Death Star of the Geek So to Speak network is the main guy itself, the Geek So to Speak show, which is hosted by Wonder Rob, Schaff, and Vactor, and featuring my Cinemark segment, and that's out on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But as always, we are grateful to George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Thank the maker.
The Cantina music. That was Wizard.